And with this, I will share my screen. Please let me know if my screen is visible and if it is full screen.
Yes, it is.
Yes. As we all are here today, because the Biotechnology Ignition Grant, the 24th call of that, this grant is open now, and this call will remain open till 31st of May 2024. So on the behalf of Society of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, IIT Bombay, I am Dr. Priyanka Majumdar, and I am presenting a brief overview of Biotechnology Ignition Grant. So we have our collaborating ecosystem partners with us. I thank all of you to join us hand in hand to spread awareness for this program. So we have Biopharma Incubation Center, Naipar, Ahmedabad. It is SVKM Dr. Vanuben Nanavati College of Pharmacy, eJuva Center, Adams University, BIT Mesra, BMC SMILE, IDEA NA, it is a CDFD technology incubator, incubation center of IIT partner, which is called IITP, and BINETS, BITS Pilani, Goa. So I'll give a brief overview of our collaborating partners. Many of them are an incubator, and they help to for innovation. They work in the area of innovation and entrepreneurship. They help mentoring, handholding, provide basic guidance to startup from start to scale through their start to scale journey. So Biopharma Incubation Center, BIC, is a technology business incubator in Naipar, Ahmedabad, and it is supported by BIRAC. It is focused on pharma and medical device innovation. The Innovation Center was established in 2021 and supported more than 20 startups so far. There are academic institutions like SVKM Dr. Vanuben Nanavati College of Pharmacy, which is a college under university and affiliated under University of Mumbai. It is accredited by NAC and also affiliated to through NIRF 2022 Pharmacy College ranking. It is a state-of-art infrastructure facility. It also promotes innovation and academic and industry collaboration. Ujuva Center, Adams University. This is one of this kind of a center in West Bengal, and it is established on August 2021 and support Ujuva first cohort. Also has a center for incubation and first supported 5 startups, and many are in the stage of incubation. We have another institute is Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra, which is an old technological institute incepted in 1954. It offers a number of courses in the PG, UG, PG, and PhD programs in across 18 departments. It also has a Science and Technology Entrepreneurial Park, BIT STEM, to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. SMILE BMC is an incubation lab, is an incubation facility under BMC, which is Mumbai Municipal Corporation. The major, it was established in the year of 2019, and the major thrust is to support innovative support in the technologies relevant to municipal challenges. SMILE has incubated 11 startups so far. IDEA NA, it is a technology business incubator situated in Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics. It is an anonymous organization under DBT and Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. It is dedicated to nurturing, promoting startup in life sciences and in the area of related discipline. So far, it is a new incubator. It has so far engaged with 6 startups and working with many more. Incubation Center of IIT Patna, established on 2016, and so far supported almost 116 startups in under different scheme. Its major thrust is primary thrust is medtech and health tech, with a major implication is in electronics. BITS Goa Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship Society, BITS BIDAC Bionis, is started on 2019 and has supported 58 startups under various programs. With this, I want to thank you again to join us for this webinar. And now I'll briefly go to the main topic of this today's discussion, which is Biotechnology Ignition Grant. As I have already mentioned, this call is now open and call will remain open till 31st of May 2024 till 5:30 p.m. This is important for the who are planning to apply for BIG because the BIDAC portal stops exactly at 5:30 p.m. and many application are was not able to applicant are not able to submit their application because they are 2-3 minutes late. So please take special care of this time. Now, in today's session, I'll give a brief overview, which I already mentioned, and I'll also explain some guidelines, scopes, and reach. We also have our mentor with us. We have Dr. Ravindra Gui. He is a director in Cynthia Clinical Services, and I'll introduce him after like 20 minutes, and he will discuss about how to apply for BIG and what are the major points you should take care of from a reviewer's and expert perspective. And in the end, we'll have a interactive Q&A session. If you have any question, you can also put them in the chat box. I'll try to answer them at the end of the session. So first, let me give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Dr. Priyanka Mojumdar and work in SINE IIT B. So what is SINE IIT B? It is a society in IIT incepted in 2004. And we are a technology business incubator in IIT Bombay. We are supported by various government organizations like BIDAC, DST, METI, and many more. So we are one of the, why we are talking about BIG? Because we are one of the BIG partner. There are 8 BIG partners all over across the country, and we are one of them. What we provide as an incubation center, we provide infrastructure, funding, mentoring support, hand-holding, various helping legal services. You also get a number of networking opportunities. We interacted with investors and have a cohort of more than 250 mentors. And we also connect our startups and grantees to the various industry and CSR connections. So for BIG application, as you understand, we are located in Bombay and there are other partners who are located in different locations in India. But for when you are planning to apply for BIG, if you have to, the application process and everything is online. So you can choose any BIG partner among these 8, not necessarily it has to be in your close vicinity. And as you can see, we get application from all over the country. I'll briefly discuss about some of the other funding opportunities apart from BIG in BIDAC. So what is BIDAC? Is a Section 8 company. It is an offshoot of Department of Biotechnology for handling innovation and entrepreneurship grant. So there are a number of grants which are given to startups and innovators. There are few early stage grants like SIP, Srishti, and BIG. BIG will be the major focus of our discussion. BIG is given to our early innovators who have ideation, who have a product at the stage of ideation or have a proof of principle in lab, and they want to develop a prototype with commercial potential. For them, BIG grant is applicable. And there are other grants at different stages like SIBRI, BIPP, which are follow-up funding for BIG. And there are funds like seed fund, leaf fund, and CSR fund. These funds are also available. For clinician or for accommodation who are working on a project, a product, or a solution, and which has a commercial potential and doesn't want to incorporate a company right now, but want to develop their prototype, they for them, BIDAC has other grants like AIR and CRS. So if you want to discuss know more about it, you can write to SINE, you can reach out to us and we can discuss further. Now going to the main topic, what is Biotechnology Ignition Grant? As I have already mentioned, it is an innovation grant. Anyone who has an innovative idea, have a lab size proof of principle for a product or a solution and want to make a product and come with a clear-cut commercial potential can apply for this grant. The target for this grant is academician, clinician, startups, early stage innovators, biomedical sciences, PhD, MSc, MTech, MPharma, or all of them. The support grant money is up to 50 lakh. It is given for 18 months period of time. And so far, 24th call of BIG has been announced. So I'll give a brief overview what has BIG has done so far. So far, 950 project has been supported. Among them, 125 products has seen the market. Almost 480, 1,000, more than 1,000 CR follow-up funding has been raised by the BIG grantees so far. And more than 500 IPs has been generated. So when you are planning to apply, the first question comes to mind that what is the category of application and am I eligible to apply for this grant? So both individual and a company can apply for this grant. For individual to apply for this grant, the basic minimum criteria, educational criteria is an undergraduate degree, but this is desirable that you have a technical expertise in for your proposal. And you should have another important criteria is a citizenship. The individual who is applying for BIG grant has to be an Indian citizen, and he or she has to produce a passport at the time of application. If you do not have a passport and planning to apply for BIG, I suggest you apply for the passport right away and provide that proof. If you do not get a passport at the day at the end of like 31st March, at least you can provide a document that you have applied for a passport, and that can be taken as a valid proof, at least for the initial round. Another important point is if you are individual and if you want to apply as an individual, but you have a share in a biotech company, then you cannot apply as an individual. You have to come from a company route. If you are working in academia, you have to provide an NOC. Now, for BIG gives an opportunity for academician and clinician, or even PhD students, faculty members, all of them, to work simultaneously for their BIG project if they get the grant, and work in their while continuing their current job. So if you are an academic clinician or working as a faculty or a PhD student at the last year, you want to apply for a BIG, you have to provide a no objection certificate from your current employer, clearly stating that you will be working, you will be devoting some amount of time in your BIG project, and you will be devoting rest of the time in your for your current job. But one thing has to be kept in mind: if you are taking an NOC, in that case, you cannot draw salary from both the places. You can draw salary only from one place. If you are privately employed, then you have to provide an intention to quit. So if you are getting the grant, at the time of application only, you have to give an undertaking that if you get the grant, you will quit your private job and work full-time for the fulfillment of BIG project. Now for company application, the companies can be only private limited companies or LLP are eligible for BIG application. Age of the company is a very important factor. Age of the company should be less than 5 years at the time of call opening. So for BIG 24 call, only company incorporated after 15th April of 2000 on and after 15th April 2019, they are eligible. There are the company in the application, the company will be represented by a principal investigator. The principal investigator should have minimum educational qualification of undergraduate. The shareholding pattern of the company is an important factor. Minimum 51% stakeholder of the company should be Indian citizen. So when you are applying in a company route, you have to provide the citizenship certificate like passport, things like passport at the time of application of all shareholder passport you have to provide. Another important factor is that the PI must be a shareholder of a company. If you are employed in a company and want to apply for BIG through your company route, you have to have at least a minimum 1% share in that company. And if the company to be eligible for this application should not have any shareholder who has stake in ineligible biotech companies. By this, we mean ineligible biotech companies are biotech companies which has more than 50%, more than 51% share for non-Indian citizen, and also companies which is older than 5 years. So when you're if you are planning to consider, if you are planning to apply for BIG, you should get this information handy before applying. Now, what are the themes? As the name implied, any application, any innovation in the field of biotechnology, any innovation which has a bio component are eligible to apply. Now, there are 5 different themes. One is there are health tech themes like medical device, medical diagnostics, and biopharma. There are themes for agri-tech and secondary agriculture, veterinary sciences, and there are themes like industrial biotech. Also, application are also accepted in the field of environmental tech, sanitation, waste management. At the same time, application for AI ML based solution, IoT based solution, software driven application, which has a application in the field of healthcare or in the field of agri-tech or industrial biotech. Those kind of application are also eligible for BIG application. So suppose you have a proposal for a robot for potato picking, and it is an AI based robot. So this kind of application are eligible. You have a solution, you have a clean tech solution where you got some biological component, maybe some bacteria, you have worked with some bacteria and find a clean tech solution out of it. So those kind of proposal are also eligible for BIG application. The theme is very important, right? It is a very important factor when you are applying for BIG, because when you are during an application, you have to choose a correct theme for your application among these 5 themes. And if you are choosing a wrong theme by mistake, then there is a chance that your application is going to a different set of reviewers. So if you are not sure what kind of theme your application entitles to, talk to your incubator, reach out to the BIG partner and discuss the same. Now, TRL level is another important factor. So technology readiness level should be below 4. At the ideation stage, it should be at the stage of ideation. For TRL level higher than that, there are other grants available. So if you want to understand what TRL level your device or your product or your proposed solution is, please reach out to us and we'll discuss the same. So as I already mentioned, we are one of the 8 BIG partner. And what we do as a BIG partner, we provide a support for pre-application mentoring, provide support for grant writing. During the BIG evaluation process, there is one stage. The third stage is a TEP meetings. We also provide pre-TEP mentoring. We provide incubation support, hand-holding during the time of your BIG grant. We also do due diligence and provide IP regulatory support, etc., so on and so forth. So what is the important? These are the buzzwords which you are which will be hearing a lot during your BIG application. One is a BIG partner, which I have already mentioned. What is the role of your BIG partner? Another is incubator. So what incubator is a very important component of your BIG application. So what does incubate? So it is because this is a mandate of BIDAC that if you get the grant, you have to be incubated in an incubator for the period of BIG. So for the completion. Structure also help you in also mentor you as it is the early innovation grant. It will also provide you help in follow-on funding and give all kinds of handholding and support during your tenure. Now it is important, and I want to mention it now. Suppose you are an individual and you are not associated with any incubator right now and wants to apply for BIG. For that, during the time of application, what you have to do, you have to talk to an incubator and get a letter of intent from them stating that if you get the grant, you will be incubated at their place, at their organization for the tenure of BIG. This LOI is a very important document, and if you do not provide this LOI at the time of application, your application are deemed ineligible in the first round. So please talk to the incubator at your vicinity or find out in which incubator you want to be incubated at and get an LOI from them. At the same time, if you are working applying as a company, and have a MOU are already incubated, you can provide a MOU with that incubator at the time of your application. So I'll just briefly briefly take you through the stages of evaluation of BIG. Now, it is a very involved grant, and the evaluation process is almost 6 to 8 months long. So from the beginning of the BIG call opening and declaration of the grantees and also due diligence, it takes around 6 to 8 months. So in the first stage, when you are applying for BIG, you will choose your choice of BIG partner, and your application will come to your BIG partner. So BIG partner, what will do? We'll do the first round of eligibility checking for your application. We'll look whether you have provided all kind of supporting documents. If you're applying as a company, have you proven the shareholding pattern? If you're applying as an individual, have you provided the passport? For company also, the passports of all shareholders. Have you provided the AOA, MOA, incorporation certificate, all the necessary documents? We'll check that. After that, we also check the theme. I already mentioned why theme is very important. And if we feel that your theme is your application and your theme is not matching, we get back and try to assign your application a proper theme, obviously with permission of the applicant. We also do plagiarism checking and the presence of sufficient content. For sufficient content, I'll be discussing it shortly because it is a long application and there is a number of documents which are required and which are checked during each stages of BIG evolution. So what happened after eligibility? When you apply for BIG, first register and apply, you will get a temporary application reference number. After your application are checked by the BIG partner and made eligible, you get another reference number, which is a permanent reference number. Now, all the application under one theme. Suppose there are 200 applications under the theme, medical device theme. All the applications are clubbed together and different BIG partners are assigned with a number of applications. Suppose 100 application goes to BIG partner 1. So now what does BIG partner do? They will assign each application to reviewers. One application is assigned to 5 different reviewers. These reviewers are pulled from the BIDAC empaneled. They are BIDAC empaneled reviewers. They can be a scientist, they can be a IP expert, regulatory expert, clinical collaborator, they can be a clinician, business mentor, technical mentor. And our application is assigned to different sets of reviewer, so that each application can be judged from a very different perspective. And what are those different perspectives? Whether the application is technically sound or not, whether it has a clear-cut clinical potential or not, whether there is a good market strategy has been drawn, whether there is a market for this application solution or not. What about the status of IP? All these things are evaluated in the online review stage, and marks are given. The geometric mean of the marks are calculated, and after online review, a cutoff marks is decided for each theme, and each number of applications which are scored above the cutoff mark go to the next round, which is technical evaluation panel. And all the applicant will get a feedback from the online reviewers. Now, what is technical evaluation panel? Here, during online review, your application are only read online and the contents are checked. In technical evaluation panel, the startups or innovators have the chance to present their proposal in front of a technical panel, which is consist of similar pool of experts, from scientists to business mentors, IP regulatory expert, and so on and so forth. And these experts, there will be a 8-minute presentation, which is recorded presentation, and then there will be a 12 minutes Q&A session where you can actually defend your proposal. And here also, each proposal is checked for technical competency, your team strength, feasibility, commercial potential, novelty, etc. Post that, in TAP round, another cutoff marks is decided for each theme, and the number of proposal which scored above these cutoff marks. Generally, around 10 to 12 proposals are selected. It can be less also for each theme. And these proposals are now being presented in front of a BIRAC centralized committee, which is called a ESC committee. In ESC committee, the final cutoff for each theme are decided and agreed upon, and the BIG grantees are announced for that particular call. Post that, your BIG partner will start due diligence for starting off your BIG project. And this total number of events takes around 6 to 8 months to complete. So now I'll be discussing more about what are the evaluation parameter and how you should go about the application. So one of the important evaluation parameter is unmet need. So as you can see, these are the percentage is the weightage given to it is the weightage for each parameter. So the unmet needs is an important factor. Another important whether your solution is what is the actual you have to actually mention what is the problem statement and how is your solution is meeting that unmet. Value proposition is another important parameter. How is your solution is different from the existing solution in the market. Suppose you are applying for your proposal is a diabetic continuous glucose monitoring. So there are many other players in the market. So you have to mention that how is your product is different. Is it more specific, more accurate, less invasive, gives data more quickly and clearly? Is it cheaper than the existing solution? All this comes under value proposition and differentiation criteria, and you have to actually take special care in it. Now, technical viability. So some proposal looks very good in lab scale scenario. Maybe your proof of principle looks very nice, but it is not possible to replicate the exact scenario in a real life situation. It is difficult to scale up. Suppose you are planning to make a serum-free media for cultivation of adipose tissue, and you are using one component which is very rarely available. And in lab scale, it is possible for you to replicate, to buy that component, and it is maybe that component is a export has to be imported from somewhere else. And in lab scale, it is possible for you to do the same. But when you are going to replicate it and scale up it might not be possible. So technical viability of your proposed solution or your proposal is another important factor which you should take care of. Now, team is another important factor. As you understand, it is an innovative grant for a clear-cut commercial potential. So suppose you are a scientist and you want to apply for BIG. So your strength is in the field of technology. But when you are applying for BIG and making a product, you have to sell that product, make it commercialize the product. So you need business mentors, business people in your team. You need, suppose you might be a clinician and want to develop a product for diabetic foot, want to develop a device. So you may need a business mentor, as well as you may need another technical person, maybe an electronic engineer in your team. So when you are applying for BIG, you should have a clear-cut idea. Even if you are applying as an individual, if you are applying as a company, I suppose you already have made a team. But even if you are applying as an individual, you should have a very clear-cut idea what kind of complementary expertise you need in your team for completion of your BIG project, and that should be clearly mentioned. The CV of the team members should be provided with your application. And another important evaluation parameter is business perspective, because as I'm repeating myself again and again, this BIG grant is given for prototype development and commercialization. So if your product doesn't have a market, then it is difficult to commercialize. So the business, you should have a very clear-cut idea what the market is, what should be your GTM strategy, what is the 3 to 5 year business plan, how much money you can invest and how much money you can get, all kind of business perspective. This you should have a clear-cut idea, and that should be mentioned in your application. So now I'll be stating some brief point how to write a proposal. So your proposal should start with a problem statement. You should first define what is the problem, what is the unmet need in the society, and how your proposal, your solution is going to help alleviation of this problem. Now, you also have to mention end user mapping. You should have an idea who is going to be the end user of your product. Suppose you have made a product for diabetic foot. So your client can be a clinician or a hospital, but the end user will be company. So you should be doing this end user mapping at the time of application. What you can do for academic innovator, you can actually make a survey, take an online survey to understand your end user. What is the real need in the market? You should understand that. Technology details is very important. This is an innovation grant. Your proposal will be evaluated by technology expert, and it is very important. And competitive landscape. What are your competitors? Who are the players in the market? Are you going to be the only player in India, or there are other players? Please do not say that we are the only one in the market, because if you say such bold statement, it attracts a lot of scrutiny. So always try to find who is your players, who is your closest competitor, who is your farthest competitor, how is your product different and from the existing solution. Now, as I mentioned, there are some kinds of documents you have to give. So one important thing is concept note, which is a short note describing your technology. One is novelty note, which mention what is the problem statement and how is your product going to solve this problem, and how is your product is different from the existing solution. You always have to provide a slide deck. Please do not skip this section. Provide a slide deck. There are templates available, and you can provide and in this, make your slide decks using those template, or you can use your own template, but provide a slide deck stating your total application and total proposal, technical data, competitive landscape, roadmap, everything should be there in the slide deck. Do not use a lot of writing in the slide deck, because nobody likes to read a lot of things. Use as much as graph, images, infographics. You also have to provide a 3 to 5 year roadmap, because this is an 18 months grant, but obviously will be carry on with this grant, with this product. So there should be a roadmap. Also provide, if you have any technical data, if you have done already filed for an IP, if you have published a paper, some general data, preliminary data, because we can actually ask for various. We can actually always say claim a lot of things, but not necessarily. If we do not have show our technical data, it is difficult to convince the expert panel. So if you have a technical data, please show that. Provide graphs, provide images, video of your product, so on and so forth. And another important factor is pair up with proper team members, pair up with mentors, and provide all these things in your application. So an effective presentation should have a proof of principle, a preliminary data. You should have a picture of short video. You also have to mention differentiator. When you're mentioning the differentiator, go for a table. Do not just keep on writing a lot of things. Make a table. Look for your end user. Look for the clients, and highlight expertise. What is your strength? What is the strength of your team member? Highlight everything in the presentation. So I'll just go briefly about how to prepare. So first, you have to provide a nice, effective title. You have to provide a proposal summary. There will be objectives. There can be 3-4 objectives, and the objectives has to be defined with milestones. So what is a BIG? There are 3 milestones in the BIG grant: M1, M1. So you have to provide it in every milestone. What are you going to do in the first 6 months? What are you going to do in the next 6 months? All these things has to be provided in the application, also in the presentation. Do market study. If you have done prior searches, I have filed for IP, give all this information. Also provide the 5 key metrics of evaluation. Remember this 5 key metrics, and provide the and when you are making that proposal, remember that and incorporate that. Opportunity and challenges, what challenges you might face during the time of your BIG project, and how you are planning to overcome that. Mention those things as well. and also mention your commercialization plan, support, and give all the supporting data which are required. So focus on the novelty note, concept note, milestone. First check your TRL, and also focus on the commercial potential, market study, and your go-to-market strategy. Remember, your proposal should be very clear. It should have a very crisp title. The title should not be vague. It should have scientific rigor. There should be enough scientific evidences, and your proposal should have a very clear-cut commercial feasibility, and which is supported by market study, market data, GTM study, and differentiator, checking of your differentiator. So now I'll just briefly go about the project budgeting, and I'll also ask Dr. Gui at the time of his presentation that how these things are important at the time of application. So for BIG is the only project where you can take is the only this kind of innovation grant where you can take a manpower, but not more than 30% of the project cost can be apportioned to manpower. At the same time, maximum 30% of the project cost can be apportioned to equipment. So here comes the role of incubator. So when you are applying for BIG and when you get a BIG grant, you should be incubated in an incubator which has a necessary infrastructure to support your project, so that you don't spend a lot of money for overhead. You can spend money for other heads like manpower, consumable, outsourcing. So if you are going to fabricate something, you can outsource and take apportion money from BIG. Also, there are charges for incubation, IP, travel, and other heads. Why budgeting is important? Unless you have a clear-cut idea of the budget and how you spend the 50 lakh rupees in 18 months for completion of your project, it doesn't look very convincing to the mentors. And I think I'll just not discuss a lot detail, and I asked Dr. Gui to discuss it more. And there is one important thing which I want to mention. This is a royalty payment to BIDAC. So far there isn't royalty payment associated with BIG grant. So if you got BIG, develop a product, commercialize the product, and start making money out of it, 5% royalty of the net sales of the product is should be returned to BIDAC each year till you finish 50 lakh. But if the project is terminated, foreclosure, you don't have to pay the royalty. Even if you are making a technology and transferring a technology, the royalty payment will be applicable for the same. So what are the documents required? LOI from incubator, I made it red because it is really, really important. If you do not give this document, your application will be considered ineligible in the very first round. You need a passport. If you do not have, apply one right now. If you're NOC academia, you have to provide an NOC. If you're privately employed, you have to provide an intention to quit when you get the grant. And if you're applying in the company, you have to provide the company document, incorporation certificate, really important, and AOA, MOA, PAN card, shareholding patterns, so on and so forth. So these are SINE BIG impact. I'll not. We are here since we are here since BIG 15 call, and so far supported 53 grantees, and among them 5 products has been commercialized, and our grantees were able to raise around 38 CR follow-up funding. So these are the few of our BIG grantees. I'll not discuss much about them. I just want to show few products here. So this is one of our BIG grantee called Mylin Medtech. She's a clinician and she wanted to explore this entrepreneurship route. So she has developed a hydrating oral patch for dry mouth patient, for oral cancer patient when they undergo radiation or is a side effect of cancer chemotherapy as well. People develop dry mouth. So she has developed an oral patch for the same. There was another BIG grantee. He was an MTech student and he developed a portable barn unit which can be mounted on a normal hospital bed within 30 minutes and transform any normal bed to a barn unit. And there are a few other grantees. I want to mention the Kohli's Life Tech. He is a grantee from Nagpur and he is making a rehab device for burn patient. And ION, they are a BIG grantee from Kerala, and they have made a portable exoskeleton unit for regaining motor function of upper limb. We also have this grantee called My Work. They have made an edible scaffold for cultivated milk industry. So I'll not go into any more details. So just keep in mind, there are a few things. It's a long application process. A number of documents are required. So please start the application process early. If you understand the theme, understand the TRL, talk to your BIG partner, talk to your incubator or experts, talk to your mentors, get all the necessary letters, all the incubation certificate, NOC, LOI, all the necessary documents. Team with the complementary skill set advisor. It's not necessary for an individual to team up with people, to onboard people, but you should have an idea of what kind of expertise you need and provide that in your application. And if you want to talk to us, if you want to reach out to us, we are available. And I'll put my email ID here in chat box. You can write to us, and also you can also visit SINE website for the same. With this, thank you very much for patiently listening to this talk. With this, I'll stop here, and I'll have I'll ask Dr. Ravindra Gui to kindly present about his experience as a referee in BIG. So I'll give a very brief introduction to Dr. Gui. So he's an esteemed impaneled member in various BIDAC committee and various ethics committee. He has a long-standing experiences of 2 decades in clinical research. Currently, he serves as a director of Syngenta Clinical Services and provide service as a consultant for clinical research. He also has served as a professor in Symbiosis School of Biomedical Science and as a dean in Biocare Research Academy. He has published more than 80 papers, wrote 3 books, and contributed in 5 book chapters. Dr. Gui has done his post-graduation in pharmacology from Karnataka University, and he has done his PhD from University of Mumbai, followed by a postdoc in Max Planck University, Germany. With this, I'll request Dr. Gui to kindly guide us through that how to apply for BIG, how is from a reviewer's perspective, what things are considered, what point the applicant should remember and take special care at the time of BIG. And maybe I'll just do and don'ts of the application. And over to you, Dr. Gui.
Thank you, Dr. Priyanka. I really don't know whether I'm capable of handling all the things that you have asked me. Because after giving such a beautiful presentation, my request to you, would you please give me a copy of this? I would also like to learn about it. Because I usually come into the play or come into focus only when the applicants come to me either for mentoring or I am there to review the applications online or in the technical round and even in the final round. So how an application is made and what happens, how you interact with the incubator, Dr. Priyanka would know best, and please take her advice. Don't come to me. I really do not know those things, but I have been now expert both for drugs and for devices for probably about 5-6 years. And I have learned some things by my experience and which I'll be talking. So what I will be talking will be what I feel as an expert and what other experts also feel. Sometimes we talk to each other, we exchange our views. Usually it happens after one candidate, we generally talk to among the experts, we have a chat. We try to find out what everybody thinks about it, and that's how we know something about it. Now, you all know that once your proposal goes through an online review, then it is shortlisted for a technical experts panel. But online review also, we look at 5 different things. The first being the unmet need. Is there really a need for your product which you are trying to make? And are you able to put forward that need in 2 to 3 sentences maximum? Whenever a person starts writing a para to say what the unmet need is, it becomes obvious that he is not very clear or she is not very clear about the unmet need. So you have to very briefly state the problem and how it is going to be solved by your product. The second thing, which among the experts, we always, very often, we have an IP expert, intellectual property expert, and that person always looks at it from the point of view of intellectual property and patents and copyrights and all those things. Because even if you make something very useful, and if you are not able to patent it, then anybody can copy that device or drug, and you'll be left without any way of commercializing it. And even if you commercialize it, other people will misuse that information and come out in the market. And then, depending upon their marketing strength, they will take away the market from you. So, novelty and the possibility that whether it can be patented or copyrighted, depending upon what it is very, very essential. Now, please look at it from the point of view of an IP expert. Maybe you will have to consult an IP expert to find out whether it is really novel or not. Sometimes I do agree that you have got a 6 month almost procedure for this BIG grant. What you think today is very, very novel, after 4 months, somebody has already put a patent application for that. The patent would not be granted, but the application would be there. And once the application is there, then you lose the first, what is a claim on that. So be careful about the novelty of the product. The third issue that everybody looks at, the aspect which has been given the maximum weightage, is the technical feasibility and the technical possibility of making the project. Now, here you are going to have experts, and most of the experts have some experience about making products, using products, or looking at the products. And there, I would request you to be honest specifically. Now, I always request everybody to be honest, but be very careful here in technical feasibility. Do not get caught in some sentence when an expert says, no, no, this is not going to happen like this, then you are going to be in a bit of trouble. So try to do that very carefully. The next is a team strength, which we often have been finding a bit of problems there. I'm not naming anybody. I'm not making any comment on that, but very often we find that the startup, the person who is starting it up, he includes his family as members of the team. Now, this has happened very often. The spouse of the scientist is included, and that person's cost is shown under manpower costs. Now, since CVs are also uploaded on the site, the experts look at the CVs, and if somebody finds somebody's wife, especially if she is not qualified in that area, yet she has been put, or somebody's husband has been put, though he is not qualified, then immediately the experts do feel that this is something other than very genuine support, or the team is not very genuine. Many people will try to play multiple roles. They will say that I have experience in marketing also, I have experience in developing also, I am a chemist also, I am a engineer also. All those things they will say, and they will try to have a very small team. And such a small team, the experts will feel that this cannot develop it. There are other people who will include a very large team and already include the cost of a marketing expert in that. Believe me, we are working at up to a TRL level of 4. Frankly, at this stage, you do not require a marketing expert. You do require an idea where it is going to be marketed, how it is going to be marketed. But what you need is someone whom you will eventually engage as a marketing expert. At that time, on the time of BIG application, you need not really have a marketing person on board. So having a person and having a person on board are two different things. The next point is the commercial potential. I know everybody tries to show that their product has a very, very high commercial potential. I remember in one particular case, the person was developing a new type of surgical instrument. The surgical instrument was for a particular type of, for a particular function. But when it came to the market, that individual calculated the market of the entire surgical equipment, which is not a very correct thing. You see, your instrument has a particular market, and it is not the market of the all the surgical instruments to show that the all surgical instrument market is 40 billion, and therefore my instrument has a potential to operate in 40 billion market. That's not really true. You'll have to try to find out. At least you can say that total market is so much. Now, this instrument may not have that much market. It would have a smaller market. Now, please remember today, most of the people, experts who are going to come, are also going to look at your product using AI very commonly. Most of the experts use either, of course, everybody uses Google and PubMed to find out what are the similar products in the market. But other AI, Chat GPT, Kruthrim, and all these things are being used by everyone. So you really can't fib about it, saying that no, my instrument is extremely unique and nobody else has developed anything like that. This is what I think Dr. Priyanka also said, that do not make a claim that my instrument is something which nobody has ever made. I'm the first person to make it. You will have a problem at the regulatory level also. At the regulatory level, the claim to be made is slightly different, and what at the marketing level, the claim to be made is very, very different. So I would request you to look at your product from a competitor point of view. That suppose you were a competitor of that product, what would you be doing? What information would you get? How will you get it? Look at it from that angle, and that will probably give you a greater understanding about your own product. As I told you about novelty, look at the IP. There are different websites and there are different what you call databases for intellectual property. You should look at it, or at least talk to someone who is a specialist in IP before making any claims about it. So then when you come for the TEP, or then the question comes in there. These are no practical things. You see, you have got 8 minutes for presentation, and you have to be your talk has to be recorded. So you don't give a live talk, you give a recorded talk is played there. So therefore you have to practice it and record it properly. Ensure that the voice is proper, ensure that there are not too many pauses, that you don't waste your 8 minutes. The most important problem which I often see is that the amount of material that is crammed in every slide. Now, theoretically, in 8 minutes, you should not have more than 12 to 13 slides. Because the time for the experts to read the slide, it takes about 30 to 40 seconds at least to read one slide. And if you cram too much material in that, the poor expert can hardly read 1/4 of the slide and the slide changes. Now, I'm not saying that you should prepare the slide to make the expert happy, but unless the expert can properly read your slide, how can he honestly decide whether your product is worth supporting or not? It's going to be very difficult for him to make a rational decision if he can't read the slide. So please think about it. How much can you read in those 30 to 40 seconds that you are going to give to the experts? Do not put more data on that. People put in one slide, they put 3 different graphs, 4 different charts, and a lot of written material, and the expert cannot read it. Also remember one thing, it might appear to some of you as very strange. It's not strange actually, but most of your experts are above 60 and 70s. So many of their eyesight is not very good. So if you use a smaller font, they're not going to be able to read what you have written on that. And obviously, if he's not going to be able to read, how is he going to really evaluate your work? That is going to happen. That will be a major problem. Then after your 8 minutes are over, they're going to ask you questions. I'll tell you, nothing irritates an expert more than when the person goes on answering one question. The first question you ask, and the person takes 4 to 5 minutes to answer that question, giving all sorts of extraneous data which has not been asked, but to kill time. Because the question answer session is also going to last not more than 10 to 12 minutes. So, what people try is to reduce the number of questions coming from the experts. So, they go on giving very long answers for every question. Now, that is what is going to irritate the experts. So, you're going to lose marks eventually. So, these are the few points which I would like you to remember. Most of these are basically common sense points. And I don't think anybody needs to come and tell you these things. You all know more than me about presentations and how to get your projects approved. But if there are any other questions, I'll be happy to take them. But right at this minute, I can't think of anything else. Dr. Priyanka, I am done.
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Gurij, for very clearly pointing out what are needed during your VIG application and what are do's and don't in your application. So, Dr. Gurij, I have some some queries
Okay, sure.
so suppose if our product is ideation stage, many of our VIG applicants are from academia, and they
Yes,
want to, or clinician, they want to apply for this grant, innovation grant, and they are at the stage of they are coming from an academic perspective. So
that's
at
right.
the and project probably is in a very early stage. So
Yes.
how a applicant should prepare for BIG? What should be the point they should focus on
No, simply,
when they're
yeah. The first thing is that depending on your product, if you have produced a medical device, please talk to the expert who is going to be using it. This is the first thing. Now, people come recently, let's say, somebody comes with a device by which you can do a test using a finger prick blood. Normally, you require 5 ml of blood for doing that test. A person has come and has brought in a finger prick test. Now, what happens? What is the difference? You should know it. Most probably, you will know it, but then you go and talk to the person who's usually using these tests and have a good discussion with him. Most of the experts will freely give you their opinions, and you'll be able to then focus exactly on what should be focused. Otherwise, what happens that sometimes the people come in, you are very good scientist, you have a very, very innovative mind, but you are not looking at it from the angle of the user. That is very important. If the user doesn't find it useful, then you are not going to go ahead in this. So my advice would be that first of all, search out some users, talk to them, talk to your incubation center if they can arrange mentors for you. Talk to your mentors. Your mentors will be able to give you a lot of help. I myself work as a mentor for many at Venture Center Pune. At sometimes IIT Bombay, SINE also talks to me. Bhubaneswar people talk to me. We do support people. We give them our advice, what they should concentrate on what they should not concentrate on. I would suggest you always talk to people who are in the field. Yeah.
yes, that is very nicely put because I can think about an application which was a drug application. They are repurposing a
Mhm.
drug, and probably you also remember the same. Yeah, they are repurposing a drug, but the application and the end user was not very clear.
Hmm.
So
It does happen. You see,
yes,
I've seen so many applications I've seen, which probably if that person would have really talked, he would not, or she would not have wasted much time. The incubator would not have wasted so much time. We could have dropped out. In drug development or device development, The earlier you drop an idea which doesn't work, the better it is. Because
And
every step costs money. So the earlier you drop it, if it is not working, drop it immediately.
yes,
Don't think that we will just push it along. Don't do that.
so here comes the importance of the preliminary data. So one should have a very solid preliminary data for BIG application. But Dr. Gui, the application is for the stage, it can be at TRL 0 at the time of application, and they might not have any preliminary data. So how people should go about those kind of application? How
I
should
do
they
agree. I
prepare?
agree with you. You would not have preliminary data, but at least you know for what the drug is or the device is used. Suppose you know that, when you are developing a device, you should know for what you are developing it
Hmm.
and who your end user is going to be. Once you know that, you identify who are the experts who are working on such a device and talk to them. They will be able to tell you whether it is really feasible, whether it is workable or not. Frankly, I've seen so many devices go down the drain. And at a later stage, one more thing I just forgot to tell you, if you're talking about devices, have all your people read the medical device rules of 2017? And if you are talking about drugs, have you read the new drugs and clinical trial rules of 2019? Because somebody comes up with a product which will never get clearance of the drug controller. There are conditions for clearance of devices and drugs. And you should know how feasible is it to get a clearance. If you're going to develop a drug, you should know how difficult it is, what is the path for drug development, what the total cost of drug development. We start with 50 lakhs of BIG and maybe a few crores of CBRI grant. That is not adequate for a drug, just not adequate. To develop a
Uh,
drug, bring it into the market, you require anywhere between, say, three figures crores, in crores, 100 plus crores. So you should be ready to think in a way that after I develop it to this level, I will sell it out. I will license it out. That you should be ready.
so a
Second,
clear-cut plan of
Dr. Priyanka,
commercialization. Yes,
Dr. Priyanka, sorry, one thing which you said, it struck me that if you discontinue doing that drug or a device, if you discontinue that innovation, no, we had once a individual who discontinued the innovation here, went abroad and continued it there. That was most unfair. That was something which nobody liked. That should not happen. Because you are just denying whatever support you have got from the government of India, then
yes,
taking it abroad and doing it.
yes,
Don't do it.
yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
So, so it is very important to have a proper vision and have a idea of ground realities when you apply, when you are applying for BIG. Whether your device will come to the market, whether it will be possible for it to pass the regulatory hurdles, and whether there is a proper market and it can be whether it is scalable or not. And all these things, it should be considered well enough. The ground research has to be done at the time of application, and these things are considered in TEP and online review. And with this, I have my second question is like, if there is a healthcare application, so how important is to know about the regulatory processes at the time of a VIG application?
Absolutely, you must know it. Because if you come out with a, say, and a product with plant product, and say that I am going to launch this drug in the market, how can we launch a plant product as a drug? So what is the route you should know? There's a Ayush route. You can go by that route, and then there is the new drug route. Where you can't just take a mixture and extract from 4 plants and say that this is a drug. Drug controller doesn't allow it. That's why I said that you got to know the new drug and clinical trial rules. It is clearly if you look at the new drug definition, it exactly tells you what will be considered as a new drug and what will not be considered as a new drug. So without looking at it, please don't go ahead. You ask us, we will tell you whether you're likely to go through the drug controller or not. Because you
Yes,
cannot do anything without the drug controller's permission.
yes,
Another thing, Dr. Priyanka, please tell them, do not do any study on a human being unless you have the permission of the drug controller and the ethics committee. We've had 2 cases in which people had done study on about 100 people that studied already. The product had not been approved by they had no license from the drug controller, they had no permission from the ethics committees, and they just went and did the studies. And that is enough to disqualify a project.
yes. And I also want to ask you whether how budget is important for BIG application, because many times we see budgeting of 20 lakh and it is like
Stretched to 49.4 lakhs.
yes.
That is really, uh, you know, most of the people think that the experts don't understand this thing, but everybody knows that you have got a BIG grant usually of 50 lakhs. And when you see every project which comes for the final or any stage, it's between 49 lakhs and 50 lakhs. Everybody's budget goes between that. That means, irrespective of what you really need, you're stretched your what is a requirements to go into that level. You know that you cannot get more than 50, so you're just asking a bit less than 50. So we really don't look at your budgets. We know that they are not accurately made. They have been doctored, actually.
And as you have correctly, rightly mentioned, for manpower, if you take a family member, you can take a family member, but he or she should have a expertise,
Qualification.
proper expertise.
We should have the qualification. I remember in one case, the person was doing a respiratory, some product, and he said his wife can help him because she has some homeopathic degree. Now that becomes very, very suspicious. Well, that means you're employing your wife. You're trying to extract 2 salaries from the grant. That doesn't look
Yes,
good.
yes.
We appreciate.
And now I have a last question.
Sure.
What are the application? What are the areas you want to see DIG application? Being an expert and review panel member for such a long time.
No, really, I love to see anything new. You know, I remember that time when during COVID, there was a special BIG session for oxygenators, you know,
Hmm.
respirators and all that. And one of the beautiful ideas which came, which BIG supported, I don't know subsequently what has happened. See, whenever there is a good idea, we support. As you showed today, the product for xerostomia,
Yes,
right?
mouth patch. Yes,
There's last BIG, this 23rd BIG, there was a product for this one, mucositis.
yes,
Post chemotherapy, post radiation, there is a large amount of mucositis, and patients suffer like anything. And to date, we have no drug for mucositis. Makes the life of the person miserable.
mhm,
Immediately after a chemotherapy session, the patient can't eat, the patient can't swallow. Even swallowing the saliva becomes painful.
yes,
We need a drug there. So I'll be very happy wherever you can bring a drug which will reduce the agony of people, which will improve their quality of life, which will improve their quantity of life, whatever it does. So I'm not saying that I really like drugs only in the field of cancer or heart attacks or anything, anywhere. Even if you can bring a drug for, say, leukoderma, it's wonderful. I personally don't know whether it's a disease or not because it does not classify, doesn't have the all the characteristics of a disease. It doesn't put an individual to a biological disadvantage, but it is such a social disease. So if you can develop a drug for that, it will be great. So no particular area, I would say, the drug should be effective, should be logical.
Yes. So here comes the first point of evaluation in BIG is the novelty and the unmet need of the
Novelty
society.
and
Any novel innovation, right? You should have a clear-cut idea about the vision of the product and a ground reality. And you
if
have
you,
to be honest.
and if you
You
can
for
bring down the cost of the
yes,
existing drug also, like so many biosimilars are today. We all
yes,
know trastuzumab was initially launched in our country at a cost of 1,05,000 rupees a vial. Because of the Indian industry, it has come down to almost 7,000 rupees a vial, from one
yes,
lakh 5,000 to 7,000. Today,
yes,
pembrolizumab costs about 2,30,000 rupees per dose. If you can bring down that, that is
yes.
something, it will be appreciated.
Product like which is more economic and products which is import
More,
substitution, those kind of products are really appreciated in BHG. So thank you, Dr. Gui. You really enlighten us for your BIG, for how to apply for BIG. I also learned a
do they
lot
have
from
any
you.
questions?
Yes, so that with this, I'll start open this
Okay.
portal for questioning. So if we have two questions, I'll read one. So good evening, Jashmeet Singh. He's saying I'm incubated in Catalyst and he wants to apply for BIG project, BIG grant. This is a legal question. He or
He
she, I
doesn't
don't
have a
understand,
passport.
do not have a passport, but
Okay.
yes, applying for the same. Yes, you can apply at this stage. You have to provide your passport application, that online acknowledgement from passport office at the time of your application.
But I don't know,
And my
Dr. Priyanka, what is the problem nowadays? Passport comes within 48 hours.
yes, but there are instances some people have some kind of consideration,
Okay,
some
if
kind
there's
of
some problem.
restriction. They are shifting houses. They don't have a proper
Okay.
address proof. So for them, we make this provision that they can at least provide a passport application acknowledgement. But when they get the
Yeah.
grant during due diligence, we check all these things. And the TRL stage is 2, working on POC in the lab. Should I apply now or wait till the next cycle? You have a PC ready. So technically, you can apply now for this grant because TRL level BIG application should be below TRL 4, and it is you have a lab level POC, so you can apply for this grant now. I do not understand this question. Is the EdTech product is eligible for it?
Probably they mean agri-tech.
Agri-tech. If it means agri-tech, yes. Agriculture, secondary agriculture, IoT-based solution, AI/ML-based solution in the field of agriculture, all those kind of applications are
Are
eligible. Yes. We also have application in the field of food technology. Last in BIG
Oh,
con,
yeah.
we got one grantee for
Food
um,
technology, of course.
yes, robotic cooking machine, and we supported grantees like Canebot for automatic sugar cane juice robot. So these kind of products they can apply. What are the incubators in Goa affiliated to BIG? So if you get BIG, you can incubate it in any incubator of your choice. There are 8 BIG partners. SINE is one of them, but for incubator, you can be associated with any incubator.
But probably for Goa, Pune will be the nearest.
Yes. So passport, and we in Goa we also have BITS Pilani, BITS Goa.
Okay, BITS Goa. Yes, of course.
Yes, we have them today. Bioness beats Pilani Goa. And so incubator, there is no restriction. Okay, you have to apply. You have to be located in a specific incubator as such. Passport is required only for the lead innovator or the entire team during submission of application. So if you're applying as an individual, passport is required for the lead innovator. If you're applying as a company route, passport is required for all company shareholder. But for team members, you have to provide a proper CV of team, all team members during the time of your application. Do you support product related to cosmetology? I'd like to take this question because we have a BIG grantee in BIG 22 cycle. She is working on a snail product. She is actually going to culture snail, and this will be used in cosmetic preparation. So yes, any innovation with a biocomponent are eligible for BIG application. And you can also write to us to understand more about, so that we understand more and we can discuss. If the unincorporated was 5+ years back, are you still eligible? No. In that case, the company is not eligible. If you want to apply through this company route, you will be deemed ineligible. So we have, I have answered the same question. For a medicine or drug product, can I apply for BIG? Yes, this is a biotechnology innovation grant, and you can apply for a medicine and drug product. I missed one question. What is the procedure of selection of our proposal and other steps? So first, you have to apply. You have to go to the BIDAC portal. You have to make a registration and do your application. If you want to understand more how to go about it and require more guidance, I am writing my email ID here. You can write to me and we can discuss it further offline. But if the cost of product development is over 50 lakh, I urge Dr. Gui to take this question.
What exactly, I would like to know, what do you mean by product development? Because product development has so many stages. You see, there's the preclinical, then there is the clinical. So certainly preclinical plus clinical will go more than 50 lakhs. What we do is that after you have reached a stage where you have shown that your product works, then try to out license it to someone else. Because the phase 2, phase 3 trials are very, very expensive, and most of us will not be able to afford it. Even with all your CBD grant and everything, we would not be able to afford it. So it would be better to join hands with some ready industry, big industry.
So here I can pitch in. It has been seen for BIG grantees. If you get a BIG grant, it attract a lot of other industry mentors. It attract investor, and you can also go for other follow-up grants in BIRAC. So BIG is a good point to start. But I want to mention, would you consider SaaS solution for it is a software as a service, software solution for animal marketplace and animal health tech? Yes. These kind of applications are considered.
There has been already one as a
yes, Dr. Pashtu, they are software. They provide a software solution for animal health. So if you have a
animal marketing,
animal health,
no, doctor, animal marketing. For purchase camels and all that, somebody had done it. That they have an online platform on which you can see the camel, you purchase the camel, you deal everything online. You don't have to go to Rajasthan for buying camels now.
Okay. So this kind of product is
yes, can be
considered and you are eligible to apply. Is passport required for all team members? As I have already answered this question, if you're coming from a company route and shareholders need to provide passport, and coming from an individual, if you have to provide a PI passport, PI has to provide a passport.
Yes.
This one question is not clear. Does animal byproduct and carbon capture included animal byproduct and carbon capture included in this grant? Yes, this kind of product, this kind of solution are eligible to apply for BIG. Animal byproduct and carbon capture. So we have a project, but that is no. Yes, but this is a healthcare solution. This is a it's
Yeah,
more
it's
of a agri-tech
environment,
or
I think.
clean tech. It's
You
more
know,
of a
if
agri-tech or clean tech, but
the
we can
environmental
apply.
solution, if it's a carbon capture, maybe. Is food
Yes.
pulp processing? Yes.
Quality enhancement, how do I take applicable for PIG? Yes, yes, like
Yes.
Kenbot. If I'm a director with two different companies, can I apply with both the companies? Okay, you can apply for both the companies, provided the company is less than 5 year old. But at the same time, after application in that during eligibility, we'll check whether both the application is can be considered for further process or not. And the instruction is not really very clear right now. But yes, you can always apply. You can our individual also can apply with more than one application. What happens further is a matter of consideration and instruction from BIDAC.
Dr. Priyanka, at the final stage of granting this one, if we find that there are two projects coming from one individual, one PI, then the
Yes.
general opinion would be, why give two grants to one person?
No. Why a BIG grant? This. Thank you, Dr. Gui, to point this out. So BIG grant, one person individual can have a BIG grant once in his or her lifetime. You cannot get two grant, but if they want to increase their chance of getting a grant, then we cannot say much about it. In the last BIG 23 call, the instruction was make one project eligible. So we got like similar, at least 3 of our applicants submitted more than one project. And during eligibility check, we had a discussion with them, and they had to choose one project with whom they want to carry forward. But at the time of application, there is no, in the software, in the portal, there is no restriction.
Officially written wise, there is no instruction
Yes.
that you cannot do it. But practically, it won't work.
Yes. So I think we do not have any more questions. If okay, whenever we are already granted by Nidhi Praya scheme, are you eligible for it? Yes, you are eligible for it. But if you get the grant, you have to take special care that the milestone should not be similar. The objective should be different. Probably you are getting, some people get BIG, Nidhi Prayas grant, start working in Nidhi Prayas, and then apply for BIG and follow it up for a follow-up, but the objective should be different, clearly different. And so if we do not have any questions, or if we have any questions from our collaborators or panel member, just wait for
Priyanka,
one or
I
two.
have one question. This is Tarun from BITS Pilani Goa campus.
Yes.
So
Yes,
actually, even I have 3 startups. So I'm not 100% owner on each startup. I am like 10%, 15% owner on each startup, right? A couple of them are agri-tech and one is based on something else. So in that sense, does it mean both the startups can't be awarded if we come through? Just a general knowledge question.
A general answer would be that have a different PI for each of them.
Okay. So if I have, okay.
You see, if your name is first on one project and your name is second or third in another project, probably it will not get noticed. And if the projects are good, they will go through. But if your name is there on two projects as a principal investigator, it will get noticed.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Welcome.
We have last question. We'll take this one. Can one of the shareholder in the new startup company be someone who has previously received BIG grant in the past of an early stage development? I think it will be a bit tricky at the time of due diligence. It can be a bit tricky because one person
No, I don't know. One of the shareholders may not
I
work.
think, yeah, I think my case applies
Yes,
here. If
applies.
they are not the PI, then
See, I do know if one department in Pune has got 3 BIG grants. Now, there are co-workers, team members are common there, but they've got it
Yes.
at different BIGs. 21, 22, 23, they got it. But I'm sure there were 1 or 2 people who were there in more than one project.
Okay. So there is a guideline which I find out. The person should not have more than 20% share and a promoter of an ineligible company.
perfect,
So
perfect. This
it
this
is better
answers.
we can discuss it offline to understand how much share, what is the percentage, and
Hmm.
we can find a solution to that. So Dinesh, we can also discuss it offline. You can write to us and we can discuss. What is the usual timeline from application to grant money coming through if selected? So the selection process is 6 to 8 months. And post that, if due diligence is done within 1 and 2 months, then you get the grant money. So with this, I think we have exceeded 5:30 timeline. So I think this is Dr. We have a hand raised, and I think this is Dr. Sujata. Dr. Sujata, can you unmute yourself and talk?
Yeah. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Sujata, you're audible.
Thank you, Dr. Priyanka and Dr. Gui for a
Yes.
wonderful presentation. It was really an eye-opener for all of us. I represent Dr. Bhanuben Nanavati College of Pharmacy. So one question for both the panelists is, does big grant, because we have a proof of concept established, we have done pharmacokinetic studies in animals. However, the product involves actual evaluation with microbial organisms. The efficacy study we couldn't do in the level where we were establishing proof of concept. So does big grant support preclinical studies where we want to establish efficacy
Oh, yes.
in preclinical?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Because the preclinical study would
as I understand, you have not yet established the efficacy.
okay.
So
Okay.
you have to establish the efficacy. That is the proof of concept.
Yes.
Even if you want to go into phase 1, BIG won't have any objection.
Okay.
Whether you will be able to manage is a different issue.
So it will be a phase 1 of big grant, right? No,
No, I mean phase 1 of clinical trials.
okay. Okay. Okay.
BIG grant is not in phases. It is the clinical trials which are in phases.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
We have a last question from Rupali. What she is asking at 9, maybe the milestone can be modified during the course of BIG project. So sometimes it is accepted if it is if it is suggested by the expert, if otherwise not. So if the expert feels the project is taking a can be benefited by a little bit modification in milestone, it is allowed. So we had one BIG grantee who is working in horticulture waste. His preliminary idea was to make packaging material using that horticulture waste. But at the time of milestone 2, so at around like 12 months, it was shown that the packaging material is not forming properly because whatever the material he is able to synthesize is a bit brittle. So the end product he has changed with the taking the advices from the expert committee. He has changed the end product. Now he is making bio beads, bio clay based sculpture and other material with his product. So this kind of modification with expert suggestion are allowed. So I
And also
think
time-wise also, timelines do change, especially during COVID. Timelines
yes,
have changed like nobody's business, which
yes, yes.
had to be
Yes,
allowed.
but now we had an instruction from BIRAC to finish the project, make them finish the
Yes.
project in
Mhm.
18 months. Uh, but anyway, there are a little bit flexibility. It's not very hard and first written on stone kind of a thing all the time. So with this, I'll stop to this presentation. Thank you all of us to join, and special thanks to Dr. Gui to join me in such a short notice and help us to understand what is required for BIG application, especially for device and drug categories. And if anyone wants to reach to him, you can write to me. I can connect you with Dr. Gui if you need some his advice and mentorship. And with this, I'll stop to this presentation. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Priyanka. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Priyanka. It was a
Thank you,
nice
Divanesh.
presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Javed. I'm just stopping this recording.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.